Good afternoon and welcome to plzsoccer.com. With me this afternoon is former Celtic manager Neil Lennon, and the topic of conversation is Kyogo Furuhashi. Neil, do you feel as though Celtic have had the best out of Kyogo so far this term?
Well, if you look at the fact he's got 12 goals up until now, probably not, in terms of his turnout over the last couple of seasons. However, he has scored goals in the big games, Champions League and the big goals twice against Rangers. So maybe his goal output isn't as great, and maybe they're not getting the ball. He likes to feed off quick ball and balls in behind, and a lot of teams are sitting in defensively. So there's this train of thought that because of the change in manager, I don't agree with that at all. I don't think he's out of form. He's probably not just getting the service he was looking at maybe last year.
I suppose, of course, because last year he would have had Jota, who chipped in with a phenomenal amount of assists and goals too.
Yeah, Aaron Moy, a creative type of player, although, O'Reilly's filled that void, and even better. So it's definitely still a work in progress, the Celtic team, and maybe Kyogo's suffering from that.
Because I think it's eight league goals he's got so far. I think 12 across the entirety of the campaign. When you compare that to last year, Player of the Year, 35 goals across all competitions. Does he need a bit of help maybe in there?
Well, they've always played one up, under Anjan, under Brendan. My own sort of thought process as a manager at times was to play two up if you got good strikers. So again, maybe that's an area that they would look at or possibly look at. Maybe not. You do worry if he were to get injured. Who would fill the gap, and it will be a big gap because he's very much a talismanic player. And to be honest with you, when you have that much success, people start looking after you more. Defensively, double up or block your runs, or Celtic always come up against the low block, particularly at home. They've got 10 games now, coming up 7 are away. It might just suit them at this stage of the season, just the way the atmosphere is around the place. I think their away form's been pretty good, so that might be something that he'll thrive on if teams start to open up again.
That's interesting you should say that, because obviously the park came up too, the surface came up at Celtic Park over the weekend. Both, I think Alistair Johnson and Brendan Rodgers both mentioned the fact that they felt as though it was quite difficult to play on. Do you think there's also the element of not being under as much pressure when you go away?
Yeah, and teams want to come for you, or open up a little bit more. They're not going to have we come up against a lot of Celtic Park teams, really difficult to break down, and sometimes there's nowhere for Kyogo to go. I was at the Bucky Thistle game last week. The pitch didn't look great, I have to say, but it's that time of year, so hopefully if they can get that sorted out, maybe the less games on it over the next month or two will improve the surface. But I just feel at this moment, you look at the performance at St Mirren just before the break, they were outstanding. They could have won the game 5 or 6 against a really good St Mirren team. So just with the mindset of the way things are, playing away from home might be beneficial for them.
Would you have expected Kyogo just to motor on a bit once he get that goal against Rangers, a big goal just to go into the break?
I think he will. I think he'll have a good second half of the season, and he's such an important player for Celtic. He's had such an impact on the club since he's arrived. And like I say, he is the go-to guy, and I think he thrives on that, and I think he will come good. You know
yourself as well, for strikers, they thrive on confidence. 1 or 2 goals, back-to-back games, goals, and then all of a sudden you're back up and running again.
I don't think he's the type to lose confidence. He keeps making the runs. He doesn't look like he gets frustrated too often. The Japanese have a great mentality for work rate, as we know anyway. And then, once the Asian Cup's out of the way, he'll have his pals back as well. Maeda's another great source of assists for him, and Hatate, he's another big miss for Celtic from a creativity point of view. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the second half of the season. I have no doubt that he will score more goals.
Would you have expected maybe a striker coming in this window? You know how hard January's a tough window, but
yeah, there's the premium, aren't they? So look, I'm sure the club will be working away, not just on that position, but maybe 1 or 2, and there might be another couple coming in. But if not, then the squad still should be strong enough to have a really good season.
Thanks for joining us, Neil. Thank you for joining us too, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.